Now, if you have an emergency, thaw it out. But no microwaves. The second thing you need to do is budget. I love it when the room goes silent on that one. Does that word just bug you? I mean, that is just a form of torture that goes beyond belief. It's got to be one of the most miserable words in the history of any language, in any culture, in any country. But it doesn't have to be like that. I want you to think about budgeting as funding your ticket to the life you've always wanted to live. Here's what it should look like for you. Pay your bills, put money aside for retirement. What's left is discretionary income. With that discretionary income, I want you to grab a calendar. The old-fashioned kind with the pretty pictures and the little blocks. And I want you to write on that calendar everything that's going to happen in that month. First are your family traditions, Sunday dinners, birthdays, holidays, and then the things that you have to do, brakes on the car, back to school, shopping, whatever it is, put it in the calendar. And with your discretionary income in that box on that day, I want you to write down what you can afford to spend. Now, in my house, when my kids were little and growing up, they knew that every Friday night we had what was called Total Kid Night. That was their night. They could do whatever they wanted. They knew they had $200 to spend in a month. They could choose to blow it all in one place and do something free the other 3 Fridays, or they could spread it out, or they might say, gee, Mom, we want to go to Disneyland. And it was like, okay, fine. But what do we have to give up for the next few months for you to be able to save and have that money for Disneyland? And you know what? They learned how to budget. And as adults, they are really good budgeters. For you, put in those family traditions. In my house on Sunday night, it's a big deal. We have dinner together. It's in the calendar, even though there's a zero cost on it. The end of the month, you got $12 left over for a date with your husband. Now you've got to get creative. How about wine and cheese and crackers on the OB Pier under a full moon? Or how about a night hike out in the Cuyamacas with no moon? Who can have the most mysterious date? Who can have the most adventurous date? Who can find the best place to neck? When there's not a lot of money left over, you can have so much fun. So I want to tell you about my Aunt Phyllis, because this is a woman who I just love dearly. She's been my best friend throughout the years. She's 87 years old. Her health is very frail, and she is very depressed because she spends a lot of her days looking back at the things that she didn't do. And it's really sad. When you start funding that ticket to the life that you want to live and living within your budget, I promise you, when you're an old lady, you'll be sitting back looking at life and going, that was a good ride. The third thing that's important is don't be afraid to spend money on a good advisor. This is not the time to bargain shop or to scrimp or to deny yourself. And there's all different levels of help that you can get. If you're a do-it-yourself person, I like to do my taxes myself, I can get my wills and trusts online, that's fine. You can be a do-it-yourself person, but have someone look over your shoulder. I want to tell you about a train wreck that someone came to me with, and this is what happens sometimes when you don't pay for someone to look over your shoulder. There was a woman who had 5 kids by her husband. He had a business partner, and one day he came home and he says, I'm sorry, but I love her, and we're done. So they married, they had a buy-sell agreement, they bought a life insurance policy, he got cancer, business partner says, I didn't sign up for this, I'm out of here. First wife takes him back and takes care of him while he's sick. In the process, they put together wills, trusts, and they said in that trust that this life insurance policy that was taken out over here shall go to this wife. Well, when he died, the kids came to me and they said, the insurance company won't pay the life insurance out to my mom. What happened was the insurance company said, well, I know you got a will and a trust, but nobody told us about that, and we have a contractual obligation to pay that benefit to this woman, and we're sorry. You might be the type of woman who says, you know what, I've got a busy life, I know what I do, I'm going to pay for somebody else to do it, it's okay. In both circumstances, whatever level you choose, again, go back to that shared knowledge that you have with other people. What other advisors did your friends use? How much time did that advisor get to know you? What kind of advice did they have? What was the experience? And go interview the advisors. It's a relationship. If your friend had good chemistry with that person and you don't, it's okay to find somebody else. This is someone who's going to take care of you, spend some money on it, and make sure that the relationship is good and that you feel good about it. The fourth thing that's very important is get your affairs in order now. I want to have a fire drill while we're all sitting here. You can stay seating, but I want to have a fire drill. If an emergency happened to you right now today when you were sitting in this chair, does somebody know who's going to take care of your kids or your pets? Who's going to pay your bills? Can they pay your bills? Do they know where to find the papers that say you can take care of paying your bills? Who's going to make your health care decisions? If you can answer affirmatively to that, my hat's off to you, congratulations. If you can't answer those questions, you need to get to work. A work associate of mine died intestate. My industry. In his 40s, he went out Lake Havasu one morning on his jet ski, got clocked by a boat, didn't have a will, didn't have a trust. What he did have was an ex-wife, a second wife, kids from both marriages, a mother that he'd been supporting, and a couple of business partners. And they all started arguing about what he told me I could have. What ended up happening was there was a court-appointed CEO. Every Monday morning, 7 people and 7 attorneys would sit around a table and they'd argue about what was supposed to happen. And that estate was settled about the time the money ran out, and there was nothing left to fight over. So please, life happens. Get your affairs in order. The last thing that you need to do is invest and save every single month. Even if you're retired, inflation's going to hit. Save and invest every month. Albert Einstein said, compounding interest is one of the most powerful things in the universe. In order to be successful in the market, you have got to have time in the market. I just want to end on this last thought. Look at your money as one of your most important relationships. It's what houses you, it's what feeds you, it's what puts your kids through college, it's going to take care of you when you're old and sick. Give it the time and the love and the attention it deserves. When you don't make decisions, you get caught up in the tides. Time goes by and you can't get it back. But when you start planning now and you start funding that ticket for the life you want to live, I can promise you, you will live a rich life, steeped in traditions, full of rich experiences. And if you get together with your girlfriends and have some fun doing it, you will be successful and you will take control of your finances.